This is the Wrestling Old Head. You have entered the portal of pro wrestling.
What the world is watching.
We're going to get into WWE Saturday night's main event predictions. I'm about to break that down like a shotgun, but I did want to talk briefly, just briefly, about something that I've been noticing on the internet wrestling community, on social media in general, that I feel the that I need to talk about. Okay? It is pertaining to this idea of the fantasy booking theory. I've noticed a lot of people like to fantasy book and theorize where they feel like a story is going or who's going to turn heel or something along those lines. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. That is all well and good as long as you know not to get disappointed if and when it doesn't come true. Because if you are fantasy booking purely with the idea that this is going to happen because it has to happen and no other ideas are on the table, then you're going to be disappointed. Because the WWE and AEW, they operate differently than where our brains might go. And at the same token, it is very possible that they have thought of the idea that you have thought of, and they have determined that it is too easy or that it is too simple, and they want to go in a different direction. So I've noticed a lot of people, it's like they have this idea of something that's going to happen, and then when it doesn't happen, they're like, oh man, piss on WWE or piss on AEW. I'm done watching. They always make stupid decisions. But it's not so much that they're making the stupid decisions, it's just they're not making yours. And that's okay. That's fine. And the WWE at this point, they can probably get away with not going with that idea, that popularized idea, pivot for a few months, and then come back and do that idea. They got the time, they got the money, and right now they're riding high on popularity. And look, don't get me wrong, I fantasy book with the best of them, son. That's what I do. I'm a fantasy booker type of a cat. When you come into the portal of pro wrestling, most of the time I'm chilling at Speculation Station, and I'm trying to tell you everything that I decided is going to happen with the storyline. The difference is with me, I know I'm going to be wrong. And if I'm going to be right, on the off chance that it actually happens the way that I predicted, I'm going to do a 30-minute video on that. You can bet I'm a gloat, you know? But yeah, wrestling is entertainment. I find it to be very entertaining to fantasy book. I go all the way back to the wrestling simulator days of TNM, EWR, which is now Total Extreme Revenge, something like that, TEW, which I've even heard recently Disco Inferno talk about, so it's come a long way as a wrestling simulator. There's also the Pro Wrestling Simulator. So if you guys want a fantasy book and you really want to show up, put your words to, put your money where your mouth is. Go buy a wrestling simulator and go let us know how you're booking your shows. I am almost certain that Tony Khan uses that simulator at some point. I'm certain that Tony Khan either he has or currently at least uses TEW at some point. The way that I look at his cards, I'm like, dude, you had to have used the simulator at one point. So I just felt the need. I spent some time talking about that just for a second because I feel like it's very important and it's actually on topic to what we're going to be talking about with Saturday night's main event. So without further ado, let's get to the predictions. So Saturday night's main event is coming to you live from Salt Lake City, Utah this Saturday, November the 1st. And it'll be broadcast on Peacock in the United States and YouTube in some international markets. Very different than what we would normally see, like when it's on NBC. And I kind of want to say that it was on Fox at one point, but I could be wrong. So this has definitely been built with kind of like a PLE vibe, like sort of a lightweight PLE vibe going here. You're going to have both world titles defended. And you're also going to have a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. But I'm burying the lead, so let's break it on down like a shotgun. Dominic Mysterio defends the WWE Intercontinental Championship against Penta, Celo, Miedo, and Rusev. This has been built up all over WWE Raw for quite some time now, over a month at the very least. Rusev and Penta have been trading championship singles matches against Dominic Mysterio every other week on Raw, and it has always ended with some kind of a nefarious act, whether it's interference or whether it's cheating. And so now what we're going to get is a triple threat match, one fall to a finish. Somebody has the opportunity of walking out as the Intercontinental Champion. Fascinating what's going on with Dominic Mysterio. He is garnering and amassing popularity at a rapid rate in Mexico when he works for the AAA promotion. And when he comes to the States, he still gets booed, don't get me wrong, but there is this groundswell of cheering. And in some markets, I've seen that they were even booing Penta when he talked bad about Dominic. So this is very fascinating because Penta is super, super popular. Although one could argue that his momentum has slowed precipitously because of the decisions that the WWE has made for him in the meantime. But Dominic just keeps getting more popular and more popular as the time goes. But is it time for him to drop the WWE Intercontinental Championship? Well, as I stated before, with Penta, they have definitely slowed their roll on him. When he first came into the company, he was fuego, and his popularity was unmatched. I mean, the merchandise sales were up, the way that the crowd interacted with him, he's got a badass entrance, and he had some great matches. And then they kind of shuffled the deck a little bit. They put him off TV. They took him off TV for a while, whether it was an injury or something, I don't know. And then they moved him into a program with the New Day that went absolutely nowhere. Actually, when he went with the New Day, I would have sworn on a stack of Bibles that they were going to put Phoenix with Penta and reform the Lucha Brothers to go after the New Day. I could have sworn that was going to happen. However, Phoenix at the time was on SmackDown with Andrade. So that didn't pan out the way that I thought. And now Phoenix is looking for a permanent tag team partner on SmackDown. He's got a new tag team partner every week. And Penta is trying to gain his momentum back in the singles ranks. It's very fascinating what they've done with him. Rusev has also had a slow of momentum. He got a big win over Sheamus on a pay-per-view, and then, or PLE, sorry about that. And then he took a couple of losses to Dominic Mysterio. And now we're wondering if his momentum is going to peak and he's going to win the WWE Intercontinental Championship. And I've already spoken about Dominic Mysterio. He's on fire. Something tells me, because this is Saturday night's main event, Dominic is going to retain here. I just feel that, you know, with El Grande Americano and the Dos Americanos or Tres Americanos that have been circling around Dominic Mysterio for a while, and the situation with the Judgment Day looming, the breakup that's been teased for years seems to be more of an option now than ever before. There definitely could be some botched interference going on, but I'm going to play it on the safe side, and I'm going to say that Dominic somehow finds a way to retain here. And eventually, I would hope, once they start to bring the momentum up for Penta, that he wins the Intercontinental Championship. I wouldn't be upset with Rusev either, but I just don't think this would be the right time to do a title change for this particular event. I think they can hold off just a little bit longer. And I would also be very curious if a situation arose where Finn Balor or JD McDonough challenged Dominic for the Intercontinental Championship. I think that would be great television. Somehow. I don't know how. But it was just a thought. Let's move on to the next match. So Tiffany Stratton defends her WWE Women's Championship against Jade Cargill. If this were like Survivor Series, or like a true PLE, I would be going with Jade Cargill all day long. Considering she has an injury, it also leads me to believe that Jade is the odds-on favorite to win here. However, I think it is more likely what we're going to see here is some sort of false finish, be it a DQ or a countout, where Jade really hurts Tiffany Stratton. I don't think Jade is going to win here. However, I think Jade is going to show her dominance and the fact that she snapped. And I think what that could lead to, although they've already done this with NXT with Sol Ruca, is that Tiffany Stratton might be so injured that she has to relinquish her women's championship. I know it's been done to death, but hear me out. I think it would provide much needed drama, and it would put Jade Cargill in the ultra hot seat as a most hated for putting Tiffany Stratton on the shelf without pinning her. Because I think where we're going with this is that eventually we're going to see Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Now, whether or not that's for the WWE Women's Championship is undecided, but I think that is the road. That is where we see off in the distance. That's where we're going. And Jade, even though she's most hated, she has a lot to talk about with Bianca, considering that she can continue to blame Bianca for what Naomi did. So there's a lot there. But I don't know if they're going to do that immediately. I think they're going to hold that off for WrestleMania, because that's a WrestleMania match. But considering the way that WWE has been booking lately, they can definitely do that at the Royal Rumble. They can do it at the next Saturday night's main event. And then they can do something else for WrestleMania. Who knows with the WWE? Point being, I believe Tiffany is going to retain here. But I don't think she's going to win the war. That's my prediction. Now let's move on. For the WWE Undisputed Championship, Cody Rhodes defends against Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, never gets the opportunity to finally win the Undisputed WWE Championship. I'm sick of talking about it. It's driving me crazy. It's driving me up the wall. He needs his opportunity. He needs that moment in the spotlight. But I don't know if this is the right time. I think Saturday night is typically pedestrian. It is used as a vehicle to progress storylines. It is used as a vehicle to showcase WWE's advertisements. I don't think that you're going to see that big of a title change right now. I think this is going to be a vehicle to set up war games for whatever it may be, whether it's 4-on-4 or 5-on-5. I do believe Cody Rhodes is a part of the War Games. And I think that's why we're getting the WWE Undisputed Championship here at Saturday night's main event rather than Survivor Series, because I think they're going to get that title situation handled on Saturday night's main event so they don't have to do it at Survivor Series. And I strongly believe that's why we're getting that. So whatever happens here during this match, you can bet your bottom dollar Drew McIntyre, in my opinion, will be on one side of the ring, and Cody Rhodes will be on the other side of the ring in War Games. Make of that what you will. It'll be interesting who's alongside those two, but I think that's what we're getting. As far as the result, I got Cody Rhodes. Actually, I might have a DQ on top of Cody Rhodes. Maybe Drew McIntyre wins by DQ. I would keep your eyes on Randy Orton. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I would keep your eyes on Randy Orton. And I strongly believe it's time for him to turn into a most hated. I think it's time. He had his moment in the sun. Everybody's singing along to his theme out in Europe. Breaking the decibel meter. I think right now it is time for Cody Rhodes to have a formidable opponent during his championship run. And there's no better opponent for him with the story, with the lore, with the backstory, the history, than Randy Orton. I think it was a dead giveaway that it was Randy Orton that attacked Jacob Fatu. He does the punt kick. Jacob Fatu was spitting out teeth. I mean, that would have had to have been a big kick, okay? But I believe it was Randy Orton. I really do. I think we're going to see the snapped Viper. I think he's going to listen to the voices in his head again, and he's going to go after Cody Rhodes. He's been looking at that WWE Undisputed Championship for like 2 years. I mean, come on. We got to let this go. We got to get this thing revved up. We got to get it started, and there's no better time than right now. Cody is running out of opponents. This is the time to pull the trigger on Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. So, it's either going to be a DQ with Drew McIntyre or Cody Rhodes wins. I don't know what to choose right now. I'm leaning towards a DQ with Drew McIntyre winning, but we'll see. All right, now, and finally, for the vacated World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk battles Jey Uso. A lot of talk on the internet about Jey Uso turning on the fans and going as a most hated. Nobody's really talked about CM Punk, though. I think it's a strong possibility we get a CM Punk heel turn here. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because we're not expecting it. Now look, CM Punk is a Paul Heyman guy. And the type of a character that CM Punk has been, I can see him getting Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed behind him to help build these young guys up. It's why he's been hanging around NXT. It's why he has been working with some of the younger talent. It's pretty evident. I mean, and this is all behind the scenes. You know, I don't think he's worked with a lot of younger talent on air, but the point is that CM Punk is looking at the future of the WWE. And he's also been talking about wanting to be a heel since back in AEW. And he's also talked about hanging it up rather soon. He's looking at John Cena retire. He's looking at AJ Styles retiring in 2026. So his sense of mortality is knocking at the door, and I think before he does ride off into the sunset, another heel run is going to be needed. And I think heel CM Punk is so fresh. It's so needed. It'll boost his character up a little bit. Because I don't know about you, but some of his promos have been getting a little too formulaic for my liking. It seems like he's running in circles with the same types of promos. So I think this type of a change in an attitude would do it well. And considering that Seth Rollins is going to be coming back as a fan favorite to go against the Bronze Age, I think it is important to establish that CM Punk is still got beef with Seth Rollins. So if Seth Rollins is returning as a fan favorite here to get his revenge, then it would only make sense to turn CM Punk. And very similar to what you have with Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton and Bianca Belair, is that Jade has her excuse that kind of like it makes sense, although it also makes sense to boo her. You know what I'm saying? So CM Punk turning into a heel, CM Punk still has some valid points about Seth Rollins. But now they've just flipped the cards a little bit. I don't know. I think, I can go both ways with this, because on one hand, I think it's intriguing. I think it is fresh for CM Punk, but I don't know if it would backfire. I don't know. It depends on how Seth Rollins would return, right? Because if he does return, you can still get a portion of the crowd cheering for CM Punk as a portion of the crowd is cheering for Seth Rollins. That is definitely possible. And on some nights, it could be 70-30. Hell, 80-20 in favor of CM Punk. So I do kind of go back and forth with that idea. And of course, we have just seen that surprising heel turn with John Cena, right? We just saw that. Did it work out? No, it didn't work out. So they should tread lightly on that. It only works if they have a plan. If they're going to wing it, like essentially what they did with John Cena, then it's probably not going to work that well. But if they have a plan, it's possible. And plus, I like the idea of CM Punk, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed all on the same team. I think it could be some good stuff. But you're wondering about the match. I really want to pick Jey Uso here. I really do. But if he wins, he's not going to hold the title for long. And if CM Punk wins, especially if he turns and joins up with Paul Heyman, or he uses heel tactics, I think that's more refreshing. And I don't know how long Seth Rollins is going to be out. So I think everybody, like I said at the beginning of my video, which is one of the reasons why I said that at the beginning of my video, I think a lot of people have it stuck in their head that CM Punk is going to win that world championship at WrestleMania and have his big moment and beat Seth Rollins, because that makes the most sense. But considering Seth Rollins is legit injured, that idea may be out the window. We may have to let go of that idea. And so in letting go of that idea, CM Punk as a heel with the WWE Championship going into WrestleMania is actually rather intriguing if that is the only... if we're not getting that CM Punk story of winning WrestleMania that way, that idea, it would be a good other option. That's basically what I'm saying. I think it would be a good second option. If we don't get Seth Rollins as a heel coming back, which I don't think we will, for all intents and purposes, we're going to get Seth Rollins coming back, and I believe eventually joining up with Roman Reigns to go after the Bronze Age. CM Punk can really ignite his feud with Jey Uso. Jey Uso can lean back into Jimmy and ask for help, because now it's CM Punk, it's Austin Theory, it's Bronson Reed, it's Braun Breaker. I think that's a great squad. And you need that veteran presence. Anyways, I like the idea. The vision of the WWE with CM Punk, Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, I think is some intriguing stuff. So I'm going to go with CM Punk to win here. And I think we get that shocker. And I think that's going to be the one big moment that you can take away from Saturday night's main event that has everybody talking. Because you get Dominic Mysterio retaining. You get Tiffany Stratton retaining. You get Cody Rhodes retaining. And then you get that moment at the end of the show. Everybody will be talking about that all weekend. And if they actually have a plan, I think it could really work. But what do you guys think is going to happen at Saturday night's main event this Saturday in Salt Lake City, Utah? Am I on track? Do you agree with anything that I say? Do you disagree with anything I say? Don't be bashful. Don't be shy. Go ahead and leave a comment down below what you think is going to happen at Saturday night's main event and what you think about my predictions. Guys, thank you so much for checking this video out. And if you like this video, there are more. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the notifications bell. Smash that notifications button. And go check out some of my previous videos. If you like this video, I'm sure you're going to love those videos. And make sure that you stick around for more, because you never know when I'm going to be dropping out of the portal of pro wrestling to talk about the product and the companies that I have loved since I was 3 years old. Guys, thanks again for checking this video out. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in the next one.